Hi, everybody. This is Bradley from D&D Tonight After Hours. Thank you for tuning in for what is another adventure into the world of Eberron. To start off, I'd like to first thank Corporate Streams for placing us onto the internet. And I'd like to go ahead and introduce our cast for today. Just so that you know beforehand, After Hours is a self-contained show. If you didn't see the previous episode, that's okay. You don't have to. All of them stand by themselves, but it'll be a more rewarding experience if you watch them all. Um, this is a high risk, high reward kind of campaign. So everything that is done usually has a little bit extra danger to it, but for ultimately a bigger payoff. Um, all of these adventures take place in Eberron, which is a real campaign that you can play with your friends. But for right now, I'd like to go ahead and share who I'm going to be playing with today, starting with Jonathan.
Hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm playing Runic, which is a dwarven fighter, a little bit shorter than most, a little bit thinner than most. Imagine a little browner, shorter Legolas.
Same beautiful hair.
Same beautiful hair.
Ooh.
There's something so majestic about him.
It feels like silk.
Mr. Lumen, please introduce yourself.
Hello again, everybody. I am playing Eros Mitka, the Changeling Artificer. He usually is dressed in very similar to what I'm wearing now: brown coat, hat, fisherman's cap, green shirt, or some sort of whatever shirt apparently I change into. And he always carries his face is usually that of a half elf with a short hair similar length to mine, but more of a dirty blonde. And you'll see him changing his face to kind of whatever fit the mood he tends to do.
Alrighty. And Mr. Kyle, who are you bringing to the table?
Hello, my name is Kyle, also known as Lamork. I'll be playing the caster, which is a Kenku warlock. He unfortunately has no way of actually speaking, so he'll be completely talking through mimicry, which is also known as Casta, a pre-recorded soundboard. He is a Kenku is a bird, so he has just a long bird snout, mostly looking like a raven. He's got indents in the shape of a long circle around his beak, and he looks pretty scraggly, molting in a couple spots, kind of just looking like a sickly old bird.
Alrighty, and last but not least, Mr. Mike, please.
Hi there, I'm Mike, and tonight I am continuing to play Hogan Tate Von John.
Ooh.
A halfling with rather simple clothing, nothing too shabby, kind of thin. Looks like he's had a bit of a rough past. He's been in the crime family, but he's trying to see some good be done in the world before he's done with it. So, as dumb as just a bucket of nails, but still wins your heart. Keep an eye out for him.
Alrighty, and so we begin our adventure back in Sharn. You guys are currently at the Clifftop Adventurers Guild. You all have lodgings there. You all take meals there. You also pick up contracts there. One remaining contract that there is a small notice that says wanted assistance in Thrain for the dispatching of undead. Apply within. You guys are currently in the essentially the work area. This is a place where people place up their notices for certain tiered level of adventurers. The harder stuff gets a bigger payout. The less dangerous stuff gets a smaller amount. Currently, this one seems to be the only one that you guys are able to apply for right now, having done 2 other previous adventures. Manning the desk is our old friend Galtier Susamante, here we go. A human with whitish blonde hair, kind of held back in a small ponytail, immaculate clothing, kind of just a regular tunic with a vest, but keeping a very clean workstation. He sits behind what looks to be a small little cage, and he takes in the requests for jobs, and he sends out those who apply and accept contracts to the person it's intended to go to. So, as you guys all stand here, who's going to be the one to approach?
I will.
Okay. Eros, you walk up to the small little place, the small little stand that Galtier is at. He says, "Well, hello. Will you be taking the last remaining contract for your crew.
As always, Golly, it's been a pleasure always working with you. Yes, we will take the last one. It's the only one here, and I need to get paid. And I'm sure the other two as well. The bird was really looking for tons of money. And I know this halfling wants more tons of money.
Galtier looks Galtier looks over at the Kenku and the halfling. He's like, "Of course, Mr. Merca, we can supply that for you. I do, however, have a bit of news before we go ahead and continue with this.
Are they not dead?
Ooh, no, it's they are very much undead."
Oh, okay.
He thinks about it for a second. He's like, "Yes, no, yes, the job is still open. The issue is by means of transportation. The Stargazer has not come into port yet, and so we have no choice but to send you by lightning rail. Thankfully, we have an arrangement with House Dorian. House Orion is, of course, the dragon-marked house that basically runs the lightning rails from here all the way to the deepest parts of the north of Carneth, all the way over to the Moor Holds. Now, it would be a 2-day journey by lightning rail, but that's no time at all. And the kicker, they will pay you for security and waive all of your fees for travel should you choose to take on a security position during your stay on their lightning rail.
How long till we get to Thrain?
2 days.
2 days, yes. Your Kenku friend has an immaculate vocabulary and a good recall for memory.
That last one is more what it is, not the memory.
So
glare really hard at arrows.
Well, an extra money, extra job. What do you guys think? I look over to Castor and to Hogan.
Works for me.
Just put his wings in a circle.
Marvelous. You'll be joining our one of our other seasoned adventurers by the name of Runic, who will be accompanying you, has also taken travel on Orion. We would appreciate if you all work together, as that would yield a better result.
Sure. We had a new half orc with us last time. I'm more than happy to take a dwarf.
Very good. Your train leaves in 1 hour, and he slides over 3 tickets to the 3 of you. He will be waiting by the red platform, number 3.
All right. Remember that one, Bird? Because I'm not.
Number 3.
Perfect.
Is there anything you'd like to do before you head over to the lightning rail station?
What can we do here?
Well, if you need to buy any provisions or use any of the money that you have, there's time for quick purchasing.
Potions?
Oh yeah, sure. Standard rate of potions are typically 50 for a regular, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can purchase up to 3 potions of healing with 50 gold apiece.
I'm just gonna get one more.
Yeah, I'll pick up 3.
Mr. Runic, if you'd like, you can also go ahead and add in a single potion of healing to your inventory, as per our prior discussion.
What did we pull in the last job, Hogan? How much should we get paid just to make sure I'm counting the coins right?
I don't know. I can't find any of my gold. It says gold 404. I don't know what happened to it.
You guys were supposed to be paid 10% of what they could sell for that, and as well as 50 for hiring you guys on, which I believe you were given before the start of the journey. The sale of the dragon shards has yet to happen. You're expected to hear results on that relatively soon. Dragon shards are not a hard thing to sell, especially ones that are in abundance and being sold rapidly. They're usually a more tighter market to get into.
I do have dragon shards on me.
You looking to build something there, Eros?
Always looking to build something. In fact, actually, we had a problem. I had a problem this last time. I'm going to go build some goggles.
Okay.
I'm going to look over to Gall. Do you have any leather bands or any small glasses?
Behind
Circular
my
glass.
behind my work desk here? No, but we could absolutely set you up within the requisition hall. See them on your way out. They'd be happy to supply that for you.
Perfect. And I'm just
Um,
gonna go sit down to like get the screw out the dragon shards and get like some of my tinkering ready to build these goggles.
I gotcha. Okay, so you go ahead and grab the raw materials. I believe it takes an hour to replicate a magic item. This might be something you'd want to do on the train itself rather than on your transit, since you have such limited time.
I'm just getting everything ready now, and then
Gotcha.
he's just doing all the schematics, prepping
Oh.
for when the hour comes in.
Okay, so is there anything anyone else would like to do?
Caster's good.
Okay.
I'm done.
Very good. You guys make your way to the House Orion Lightning Rail station. It is an immaculate and frankly busy location where several people are getting on, getting off, waiting in lines to purchase tickets to go anywhere in Covair. You see the gunmetal sheen of the silver train moving by, conducted by electrical energy underneath each of the rails, all of them hovering 5 feet above the ground. You see people shouting out specific times and places of destination. You are leaving on the 12 from Sharn to Flamekeep. Your journey will be a full one, and it will take 2 days to get there. You've already received your tickets, and you can all, the three of you, make a perception check. Actually, go ahead, Runic, you make a perception check as well.
I got an 18.
Hey.
18,
14.
14.
I got a natural 1 plus 3. I'm very distracted by my thoughts of building this goggles.
Gotcha. And
That's an
Mr.
11 for me.
Alrighty. Runic, you are able to see the three adventurers, each of them with the signature badge that you yourself also have of the Clifftop Adventurers Guild, shining upon lapels, wristbands, basically anywhere where it can be. For the halfling, I'm not sure where you would put it. It's about the size of a fist, but a human fist.
I don't know. Through my very thin shirt and it just kind of sags.
Hogan,
Really
it
makes
is
the hole look like an oval.
Hogan, it is you who also notice the dwarf across the way, a gentleman probably 2 feet taller than you.
That tall guy over there. Come on.
You guys go ahead and meet at the red platform.
At his hair.
Hello.
Look at his hair. I'm gonna have Eros. Eros is gonna change his hair to match Runic's. Oh my god, this is like silk.
You notice, Runic, how this half-elf suddenly changes his hair to become very similar. In fact, exactly alike to your own.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up to the halfling and be like, you seem to be the one who's the leader here.
I
is
don't
he
need
okay?
to lead. I just like to fix. But yes, I can. We're all kind of on the same level here.
Is everything okay?
Caster's
You
just
guys
like
ready?
pointing at himself with like nobody looking at him.
I'm gonna bring the hair, the new long hair, over to Caster. Feel it. Feel it.
Slap your hand. Just
So, after briefly meeting, you have decided you've been given the description from the Clifftop Adventurers Guild that you were going to be given you were going to be joining forces with a small group of 3. So these appear to be them.
Alrighty. Are you guys ready to go?
We got everything in order.
I'm fascinated by this hair, so yes, man, I will follow you to the ends of the earth.
That's good to hear.
That means okay in Kenku, as I
Okay.
point to the circle he's making with his wings.
It's like I'll trust you on that one.
I'm trying.
The 4 of you do hear that your train is going to be pulling out in 15 minutes, and are asked to begin taking seats. Do you guys want to board the train?
I'm gonna stop.
I'm gonna go
by,
first.
Yeah. Wait, we did just for narrative. Did we stop by the thing that?
Yes.
Okay.
You have your materials.
Cool. Then yes, I will follow the bird and change my hair back to my normal dirty blonde short. Yep.
You guys all begin to board the train, handing in your tickets. It looks like a human, but it's actually, upon closer inspection, a Kalishtar ticket collector takes them in, puts them through a thing, and gives you back like a different type of ticket, saying that yours is going to be taking you through each of the different stops. We're starting here in Sharn. We're going to be stopping over at Rote, Stallerskar, Vatharad, Arldusk, Sigil Star, and then finally Flamekeep. We will announce clearly which destination we are at. It will take 2 days. You all have a voucher for 6 meals, as well as you have 1 bed open and reserved for you for the night. We ask that you take the ones closest to your compartment, as they are reserved specifically for our lovely Clifftop adventurers.
Question, ticket lady.
You can call me Ema.
Ema, the ticket lady. So we're brought here for security purposes, so we've been told. Do you know what we need to secure you from?
She begins to speak. She's like, I couldn't answer that. And you turn and you see a gentleman in a red and gold vest, standing with billowing sleeves, blue pants, and shoes that I want to say that they're that Aladdin kind that kind of curl up. I don't know what to call them. I looked it up before now and I can't remember what they are. Genie shoes. Across his face is what looks to be something that Eros will immediately recognize as the House of Orion's sigil, like the dragon mark for his house is on it at the side of his face. His hair is pulled back into a neat top knot, and he approaches. He says, "Hello, my name is Bo de Orion, and you are the Clifftop Adventurers."
Yes, I'm going to walk over to him, but before I do, I'm going to grab a flask, give it to Ema. Tell your friends.
She takes it. She's like, "I can't drink." And she quickly puts it in her pocket,
Just tell your friends. I walk over to Bo, and I show my hand and show the dragon mark of mine, even though it's make it glow and make it shine and make it really show.
He kind of looks at it for just a moment, and he looks over. He says, "Are you a person from the Lyrander house?"
I am an agent of the Lyrander House who is in a complicated situation where I've kind of taken the role of someone who is in the house.
And are your fellow affiliates also fellow affiliates of your house?
I'd say so.
Tell me, Mr.
Shut up, Castor. Shut up. Just let me do this.
Sir, what is your name?
My name is Eros. Mitka. I don't know if you recognize the last name, but that is who my relation is into the House of Lyrander.
Mr. Mitka, I wonder why you and your friends are traveling by rail instead of by barge.
The ships that we were signed with seem to have their own issue, and we were told we were going to get paid to do this, so we follow where the money goes. I want to know what we are securing your lightning rail from.
Nothing. And that is precisely what I came over here to talk to you about. This rail has been run by me for 5 consecutive years. I know every compartment, I know every passenger that comes on here, and it is run solely by me. Now, I had this arrangement opened with the Clifftop Adventurers Guide as a type of assurance rather than insurance. I hire you on so that the passengers can see that I have hired you on. But we have not had a single raid, heist, nothing above a small disagreement in a cabin every once in a while on board my train. And I do not expect it to be that way going forward for the rest of this journey. Now, should that change for the first time in 5 consecutive years, I would expect prompt results, and I will pay you each 50 gold whether there is conflict or not.
Fair enough. So you're saying we can possibly get paid for merely looking the part.
Precisely correct. You are to ascribe a level of assurance and...
I see Hogan flexing.
He looks over at Hogan like like beefing out the lats, the traps. I don't know what muscles are. Clearly. And he like you see his mouth upturned just a slight bit, like he can't stop, like he can't help himself from smiling at it. He says,
We'll be ready. Don't worry.
You think he's good? Take a look at this dwarf.
"What should I expect of you?"
Beautiful hair, good sir.
I'm just gonna lean forwards, greatness, and just step back.
They do build them ambitious these days.
I
But-
nudge Hogan. Greatness.
Now, I want to make this clear. Your part here is much that of an actor who can reinforce their own performance. But if anyone seems to be nervous or has intrepidations or worries or seems anxious, speak with them. Make sure that they themselves are not a danger and reassure that there is no danger aboard my train. We'll all get along splendidly.
Sounds good to me. Now, if in the case there is danger, who and how do we get a hold of you? Your second, your third, your fourth? I don't know how you run these things. How?
Follow me.
Perfect.
As he takes you through, you see like people putting their luggage up onto other compartments. They're large, about 20 feet across seats that just kind of look into booths and have similar tables. You pass by dining carts and places where they're bedding carts where you can sleep for the evening. He says each and every compartment has two people to oversee that there is no problem here. You are not the only adventurers on board, but you are going to be overseeing all of Cabin F. Cabin F is going to be your jurisdiction. Should you see anything out of the ordinary, strange, or something that may provoke a fight, if and only if you determine that they are a threat, you are allowed to ask them to remain seated and sit next to them to ensure that they do not. If they begin to cause trouble,
So I'm going to trust you with what he just said.
I'm just gonna like slowly nod.
No. Now I want to be very clear. I am the one who controls this train, and I do not mean that as any kind of brag. I am in fact the one who is piloting it at all times, which means that for the next 48 hours, give or take, I will be the one who's piloting the Lightning Rail to and from this destination. If I'm interrupted, the train stops and we lose a lot of gold. This train does not stop. Not for you, not for me, not for the gods.
Fair enough. Well, if there needs to be I don't know if you have an engineer on hand for what you need, and I pull out a couple of tools. I can fix anything. Should there be some sort of random interruption, not by us, not by the gods, not by death itself, but just in case. Maybe you sneezed or farted, I don't know, or pooped your pants. Happens to the best of us.
I can assure you that my train is held to the highest standards of care, and it will be unnecessary, but I do appreciate your offer. If there is not anything else, we are to be leaving in 2 minutes. And he takes out a pocket watch. And 13 seconds. Good day. And he kind of walks away to leave you in this cabin. The cabin itself is about 100 feet long and about roughly about 30 feet wide. Of course, that doesn't include, or that does also include these fantastic booths that you can all take seats at. There are people to take orders for food and whatnot, and you guys can kind of get settled in. Is there anything you'd like to do before the train takes off?
I would like to do a perception check to kind of get a lay of the land we're in. To
Okay,
see if
sure.
there's any like hiding spots or I don't know, anything suspicious looking. Natural 20 plus 3.
Looking about the cabin, it seems that your best forms of cover would be within the booths themselves, because there is a walkway that goes uninterrupted 10 feet all the way down this 100-foot corridor. However, that being said, they're blocked off by these intervals of just these couches, and if it becomes relevant, I'll show you a more detailed map. But looking like going into a booth, you can kind of like come out, take a shot, and go back into cover if need be. All the luggage seems to be just stored up top or below the seats. This particular cabin doesn't have any suspicious-looking people in it. There are a notable number of humans. Yes, Castor, I see your hand.
I just wanted to take note of the people that I see.
Okay. You see at least 3 humans. They all look to be workers of some sort, laborers who are just moving on. You have at least one Kalashtar who is sitting reading a book, and currently a bugbear sitting towards the back, currently with a hat over their eyes and beginning to like get comfortable and set up into a nap as they extend their very long legs to cover up most of their booth.
And as I'm taking a look around, I'm talking to the group and being like, there looks to be nothing, I mean, from what I can tell, nothing suspicious. What do you think, Bird? You seem to not trust anybody. Fair enough.
Just getting to shrug at him.
I'm explaining the kind of the layout of what you described with how we can possibly, almost sounding like a conspiracy theorist, being like, we can hide here if somebody tries to attack us. You can come out and I can shoot, and we can do so much hiding and playing around. And Hogan, I kneel down. You're just gonna run down the alley and just attack anything that's here.
This is going to be very easy. I like it. I like this a lot. Telling me this.
And above the table, so we're in charge of this one section that he just put us
Yep.
in, right?
All of cabin F is yours.
Okay. And just so I remember, you said it's like 100 feet long.
Yes.
Okay. Did you mention that there was a connection between cabins, or how they?
Oh, of course. There are doors that you can travel through even while in transit that open up with a small little lever. Posted by each of them looks to be both of them human House Orion employees who are willing to attend to certain needs.
Okay. I'm just explaining. So I'm just trying to explain the lay of the land. I'm thinking we can look at the doors down here. It doesn't look like there's anything too crazy here.
No, it's a pretty standard. It's a lightning rail. This thing is a modern feat of magic and machinery blended together to transport people 30 miles an hour down a specific route. A journey that would take you roughly 2 weeks is going to take you 2 days instead. But outside of the ordinary, beyond that, no, this is a standard card. Nobody seems to be, at least you can speak to them and see if if it, get to know someone better. But as far as you can tell, the 3 gentlemen who are at the table speaking look to just be in a casual conversation, just like catching up. The Kalashtar is reading a book, and the bugbear's on his way to sleep.
Okay. I'll just go ahead and sit down in one of the booths.
Oh.
I'll sit down a little, like probably 10 feet down from the bugbear.
Okay. Runic? Hogan?
I'm gonna go to them individually and I just like approach you guys slowly. Do you guys want any food? I'm gonna go look for food.
You talking to the party?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you get, dwarf, I want to know what goes into that hair. I will take whatever you get.
Okay. Anybody else?
Not hungry right now, but I'm sure it won't be long.
Get 2 of what you're getting for him.
Yeah, that's good thinking. Yes.
Okay.
That's perfect.
For the bird? What 1, 2? All
Seeds.
Right.
Seeds.
I'm just gonna go to like the workers and ask if there's like food around here.
Okay.
Of course, sir. May I be taking your order? He takes out a small little notepad with a ballpoint pen.
What is the cheapest things you guys have here?
I would say that we could get a charcuterie board for you. It's a couple silver.
Sure.
If you're looking to have anything besides water to wash that down with, I would recommend our cherry ale.
I mean, they just gave me an order and they didn't give me any money. So I think just water and whatever board you said. And that's going to be how much?
How many people are you ordering for, sir?
Uh, for 6.
For 6.
Yeah.
That would be 12 silver.
Okay.
He goes ahead and he writes that up. He says, "Shall I open a tab for you, sir?"
Please.
And how long is your trip going to be?
It should be only a couple days.
Couple days. We will collect on your tab at the end of that transit.
Thank you.
He says, "Of course, sir." Turns and leaves this compartment. Comes back in a moment later. He says, "Your order's been placed. It should be out here momentarily."
Got it. I'm just going to go sit down somewhere.
Okay. You guys go ahead and take seats. You hear the train casting off, and you hear the as the entire rail is moved by the electrical stimulant underneath the rail itself, propulsing it forward. You can see people like waving goodbye at the train. You see like kids running after it, trying to match the speed of it. As you pull out of the station and out of Sharn, you are headed to your first destination, which is called out by the same attendant that Runic just spoke to. He says, "Next stop, the capital of Breland, Rote." And you guys begin to take your journey. Those gazing out the window might see the city of Sharn's towers lasting far longer, about almost an hour into the journey. Eventually, though, you make it outside where you can see the broad and expansive plains, dotted every so often with small little encampments, large towers that signify some of the higher places of learning for Breland. As you continue to go on, is there anything you'd like to do in the meantime as this train is moving?
I will. The bugbears. Is the bugbear asleep by now?
Oh yeah, you can hear him just kind of every so often, like the Kalstar guy kind of looks over from where he's reading and like looks over at the bugbear and just goes back to reading, like mildly annoyed.
I'm gonna go annoy more of the Kalistar.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit next to him and just kind of like clearly like spread myself out a bit. So, what you reading there?
He looks up. He's like, "Pardon?"
Book. What are you reading?
Oh, this is the short abbreviated history of Thrain.
Well, funny. That's funny. You're reading that. Could you? I'm interested in the story. What have you read thus far? Could you tell me what you have?
Keep it shorter. Thrain is it's a very religious city. It is the area in which the primary religion of the Silver Flame is practiced and kept. They are the largest supplier of clerics and paladins in the country, possibly the continent. I mean, they're currently, not currently, it's been 10 years, but essentially they fight with Karnath, the next country over, who believe in something called the Blood of Vol. Do you know anything about the Blood of Vol?
I do not, good sir.
Oh,
go ahead and inform me to everything that you know.
So, how to describe it? The Blood of Vol isn't like a religion typically. They're like believe in the power of yourself above all things, and you can accomplish greatness. It's like the power of your own blood. And Thrain does not like that at all, especially because it led to Karnath basically rising a bunch of undead to fight on their behalf during the last war. Thrain, very upset by that, charged in and been fighting for a number of years. I thought I'd read up on it since I'm going to be working in there for the next 3 months.
Oh, what are you doing there? As he's telling more of a story, I kind of pull out the gear for the goggles I was making, just to start tinkering while he's listening. I'm listening, by the way. I need to do something with my hands, or I get fidgety.
No, that's okay. I'm working in I've been asked to oversee one of the large textile mills. There's a few different imports from Thrain, divine magic, fine crafts, fruits, livestock, but it's also one of the greater textile and wool suppliers in the entire nation. So I'm happy to be having a transfer at least for 3 months.
Why? And the war is not affecting that business whatsoever?
War's been over for, well, I mean, Thrain's been very private about a few things. Like they won't allow any like arcane magic, or they're not super into any higher studying from arts that aren't really divine. There's two types of people in Thrain, typically, I'm told. There are the faithful who try to help as many people as they can, and zealots who try to punish the evil as often as they can. So if you are grouped into one of those types of people who's considered spiritually unclean, they typically don't like to do business with you. But other than that, it's a pretty lucrative business. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I've just been hearing rumors of undead living and fighting, and people are still going about that. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes. So apparently, so Thrain actually is more of a theocracy, you would call it. They believe in the Silver Flame above as their primary religion, but they're technically still a monarchy in a sense. I believe her name is Queen Diana Ir-Wanarn, who is the Blood Regent, serving as sort of a symbolic advisor to what you would call the Keeper of the Flame, the highest position in Flamekeep. So currently they're at odds because the Silver Flame is advocating the destruction of all the undead left in a specific Shadowscar, I think it is. That's basically overrun the town, and the Queen Regent is saying that it would be detrimental to put a bunch of troops into an area and leave themselves less defended should rivalries start up again. Anyway, that's just, I'm not very far into the book, and I would like to keep reading. It is fascinating to find out some of the greater history.
I'm gonna take out a flask. Hold on to this. My card's on there as well. Any information that you keep picking up on, come to me about that. My name's Eros, and I stick my hand out.
He's like, hello, Eros. I'm Marno.
Marno, good to meet you, sir. Keep me informed with that information you got. I'm gonna be stretching my legs about.
Sure thing. And he kind of goes back to his book. Your food eventually does arrive. Actually, not long into the conversation, your plate, Eros, is left on the same table that Runic is sitting at. Mm-hmm. They nod and ask if there's anything else that they can do for you, sir.
What else can we? Showing the little clifftop badge thing. Mm-hmm. Give me your finest ale. Put it on the clifftop tab.
Of course. There's a tab that was opened not too long ago. Your party is all connected?
Yes.
Excellent. I will go ahead and bring that out for you. We have quite a selection. Your finest would be between, I'll get it for you. And he goes ahead and he walks out before he gives any further details. Mm-hmm. He comes back with a large, basically this a large bottle that looks like it hasn't been, that like it has a wax seal on top of it. There's like gold filigree inlaid in some of the writing on there in Elvish, and he places it. He's like, this was barreled for 200 years. He's like, and it is all yours, sir. We'll go ahead and place that onto your tab.
Perfect.
Eventually, you guys stop at the capital of Rote. Several people get on, notably the 3 humans that were talking get off of the train and leave. The bugbear remains asleep on in that back compartment. Marno continues to read his book. A few other passengers enter on, but one noticeable person who comes in, you can hear with a very sharp dunk, who's like, oh, blast it! And in comes a Warforged wearing clothing in the attire of like someone who is fancily dressed, even with a top hat and what looks to be a monocle with certain magical inscribing on the side of it. He's a larger Warforged, so as he moves, it's kind of like Tommy boy, big man in a little jacket, like moving down, like trying to find a place. Every time he like lifts up some like his luggage, he risks hitting his head on the compartment, and he places a suitcase above him, and he kind of like looks around to like sit, and he like delicately tries to slide in to one of the booths, and he's like, oh, and then he begins to slide back out, forgetting something in his luggage, taking it out, pulling it up, and like getting a small little booklet, and begins to kind of flip it open to a few pages, takes out a pen, and symbolically, because he does not have a tongue, goes like this with his pen as if to weten the tip of the pen, and begins to kind of write down into it. A few moments pass, and the train begins to move once again.
I've been staring at the Warforged the whole time, just eating my snack.
The Warforged has noticed this, looks up a couple times, like, hello, my good sir.
Hello there, good sir.
You're a Kenku.
You're a Kenku.
No, I am a... very good. Are you heading to anywhere in particular? Are you going to Starlaskar or Arldusk?
Flamekeep, 2 days.
Flamekeep, that's quite a journey. I myself am heading to Flamekeep. What is your occupation, Mr. Kenku?
You're a Kenku.
I see. Looking for work, as am I. Well, looking to make something work. I am have an appointment there for a possible embassy to be built in Thrain. I'm working currently on my proposal. So I wonder if you could help me out, sir. And he kind of like maneuvers around the the booth once again, stands up.
Oh, as he's like coming closer to me, I'm like moving my snacks further away from him, like he's trying to take some.
He like lumbers on over. He's like, I wonder if I could read you back what I have so far and hear how you say it, so that I can just make revisions if necessary.
I shrug.
Since you have perfect recall, I had imagined that you could very easily take what I say and read it back, and I could hear how it sounds and if it's persuasive or inspiring enough.
Very easily.
Excellent. And he begins to like take a seat at your booth. He knocks over like a couple of waters. Oh my! Like kind of puts it over, like makes it right again. Slides down. He's like, well, and he like moves some of the water across and places his book down. Opens it to a page. He says, on behalf of the capital of Rote and
on
the country,
behalf of the capital of Rote
and the country of Breland.
Just gonna keep repeating everything he
Sure.
says.
I, Niner, am pleased to extend in gratitude and good and he goes on for quite a bit. Essentially, the gist of what he is saying is that he is trying to establish an embassy between Thrain and Breland to promote the idea of lasting peace without the country of Seer being in play any longer, that no one should try to make a move for further expanding of territories and to have a more open dialogue with that country. If you're perfectly recalling it back, he'll eventually say, I do think that it needs work. I should let that dry. No lungs, can't blow on it. So, what's there to do around here?
I just like hold over my little snacks.
He like
of seeds.
it takes a pinch of them and he's like, thank you. Places it in his hand and like angles it into his mouth.
Of course.
I've never been an ambassador before, but I've been told that it's important to work in cultural norms from wherever you're talking with. Do you do much traveling?
Of course.
Anywhere specifically that you've been?
Hold on, I gotta. I have a couple things.
I do want to ask: is anyone else sitting with Castor?
I tried to sit alone, so it's up to everybody else if they wanted to come
Figured
close
I'd
to
kind
me.
of gone down the length of the cabin a minute, just kind of keeping half an eye out, see if anyone looking tough and strong and shit, and see if anyone looks nervous.
I figure I'm drinking the fancy wine in front of Runic.
So I'm just crying.
Don't.
It is a very strong IPA with a full body flavored, and it has a delicious oakiness to it, and the froth on the beer is cold and it washes down the length of your throat. This is getting weird to describe.
As I'm drinking every sip, I just keep looking at Runic. fucking elves. You know, this is not even that hard to do. It doesn't take 200 years to get to this point. They put gold on the bottle. Ooh, Miss Elves over here with the gold bottle. And I'm getting like louder and louder because I'm progressively getting more inebriated. There's no reason it should take 200 years to make this. I did this in 3 months.
Niner looks over at Caster. I say, is that drunk fellow with you?
No.
Someone ought to say something. My good sir, do you mind? Some of us are trying to have conversation, or that gentleman in the back looks to be sleeping. Perhaps we...
I get up and I point directly at him, and I point at him, and I'm just like,
ugly fucking bird.
That's rude. You know how that makes me feel, Caster.
You want me to pluck them feathers, yeah?
Yeah, I don't even. You know what? Yeah. And I turn into Kenku. And I'd be like, yeah, pluck them. See how it feels. And like tears are rolling down. I'm just becoming a very emotional drunk.
Casper's just kind of like gonna back a little bit back into his booth, sit back down.
Well, it was nice meeting you, Mr. Kenku. And he like tries to like get off, and in the process of it, he tilts the table, spills the rest of the tea. He's like, "I'm terribly sorry," and he just kind of like wanders off down the hall, closer to where Runic is sitting.
You mean closer to us? Closer to me and Runic?
Oh, you guys are next to each other?
Yeah, I'm
away from that.
As I lift the wing, don't leave my Kenku friend. He needs friends.
He keeps his hat down, kind of like Moses. He's like, "I'm sorry, I can't hear you. This cabin is huge." And he like sits down.
Casper's gonna sit back down, and then, as if the Warforged was still there, he's just gonna start mimicking all the places he's been. Like he's just like listing off names because he was asked that, and then he walked away. So he's still just gonna describe the places he's been just to himself.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
I'm gonna
open up all those notepads for nothing.
I'm gonna walk over to Caster and go back to my half-elf self, super like still inebriated, and be like, "I'm sorry, you were making a friend and I ruined it. I'm sorry." And I just keep drinking more and more.
Okie about the sky begins to darken as you guys approach Starless Scar, the next place that you're heading to on your journey. And Runic, in your head, you begin to hear, this is House Tharani messaging for Runic. Are you on your way to the Lazar Principalities?
I'll have to count it. It's 25 words, right?
Yep.
I am trying to get there, but it's hard dealing with people.
A moment passes. The same male voice with a small inflection says, "What is your estimated time of arrival as of now?"
I believe it's still 2 days? No.
2 days is your travel, but to get to the Lazar Principalities, you're looking at roughly 5 days to a week.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I just relay that information.
You do not get a further response from them, being that it is a spell that has to be recast over and over again, and you are charged every time that you have to do it, at least on the person who's calling's end. They probably just don't need any further information.
Okay.
It is well into the later evening as you guys pull into Starless Scar. Marno gets up from his seat and leaves, and you guys trades out for someone else who wanders onto the train, a human with black hair, swept back in sort of an undercut, who also wears pretty fine clothing, the same red and gold that you saw Bo wearing in the beginning. And as he kind of trails the length of the cabin, he like takes a seat and orders a brandy from one of the Orion employees, and begins to walk through. Before long, the train moves once again.
I would like to
Caster's just
go-
trying to keep note of everything, of just the people.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
He's always
Nine-
got his eyes on him.
I'm
I gotcha.
slightly crying over as I'm still tinkering.
Every little bit, every once in a while, I keep going up and down the cabin, just kind of keeping an eye out. Mostly trying to look for faces I don't recognize, because if I recognize them, they were from before, and I don't remember seeing anyone bad.
You do recognize the human who has got on, and he kind of regards you with a like this. Runic, you were about to do something.
I'm just gonna go to the nearby like restroom and get changed into my leather armor and make sure that I have my weapons at the ready, just in case.
I got you. You come back, and as you enter in, the human sees you walk by him. He says, "Ah, are you expecting much trouble then?"
To me,
Yes, to you, Runic.
I just kind of like stand up to him, like really, really close to him. Like I just walk up to him, like, "No, are you?"
All the time. I'm carrying something in my briefcase that could change the fate of Covair, and listen to me closely. Everyone on board this train is in mortal danger.
Be like, "Okay, can I make an insight check?"
Yeah, go for it.
Sure, good sir. Yes, you can. You can
That's gonna be a
insight my briefcase.
7.
A 7? This person is mysterious, and he is extremely hard to read.
Okay, I'm just gonna take like an arrow. I was like, "I'll keep an eye out." I'm just gonna put it back. I'm just gonna keep walking down.
He looks him walk. He's like, "Is that what Clifftop is hiring for nowadays? Just the person who hears a credible threat and walks away?"
I just walk up to him. Are you asking me to shoot you? Is that what happened here? Or am I not getting a message?
No, I'm just messing with you. My name is Ling Diorian. My cousin runs the train. I'm here to oversee him while he sleeps. Well, not oversee him, but the train while he sleeps.
That's good. I'll keep your name on the little book.
Thorough, aren't you? What is your name?
It's like, don't worry about it.
Well, I will find out from the ledger. If we've hired you, then I'll find out eventually.
I'm sure you would.
I've offended you. I'm sorry.
It's like no reason to be sorry. I'm just gonna walk away from him.
He kind of like smiles to himself and kind of continues to sip. Hogan, you've been kind of like trailing down. You pass by Runic on the way down, and as you do so, you also notice this other human just kind of sitting there, who kind of gets your attention. He says, "Hey, sir."
Hmm.
Hi there.
Hi.
I don't start working for another 5 hours or so. Wonder if you might help me out with something.
What do you need help with?
All I need is that man's name.
Batman?
Yes, the dwarf that passed by. I want to mess with him a little bit. The one with the nice hair.
What do you need it for? What are you planning?
I plan for, if I see him again, to know him intimately and to mess with him and to freak him out a little. Just as a joke.
Can I roll to see if he's being straightforward or if he has an ulterior motive? Or something?
Sure, make an insight check.
Inside check. Well, I rolled in that 20, but that comes down to a 19 because I have a -1 on insight.
You can see that this man is being straightforward. He looks like he's just looking to mess with Runic.
Let's have a prank.
Mhm.
All right. Runic.
Okay. Do you know anything else about him? Some detail that would be.
I don't. It's the first time I've really kind of worked with him personally. I mean, he has beautiful hair,
He does.
so maybe go for that. I don't know.
Maybe he's born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Who's Maybelline?
Why? Good luck, and just know if you're lying, I will hurt you because that is my job. If you have something bad in mind.
You're with the Clifftop as well?
kidding me? Look at me. Come on. Look at that. Come on, no one flexing like that. You know,
Sir, my deepest apologies. I had no idea. But no worries there. My family owns the train, and you'll expect no trouble from me except for the usual sort. And kind of like sips at his drink a little bit.
all right, all right. I'll leave you be.
Are you with anyone else?
Am I able to see Eros and Caster or anyone else from here?
You're able to see Marno and the arm and leg of Eros. Caster is also visible from where you're sitting.
Oh yeah, I got a couple guys over there. They're good guys. You're gonna like them.
The drunk one and the bird.
Don't accept the guy's alcohol though. I think there's something up with it.
I think I'll stick to my choice, but I will absolutely take it from him. I'm into interesting conversation and people, for that matter.
Oh,
Have you eaten yet?
I'm sorry.
Have you eaten dinner yet?
No. Now's as good a time as any, I suppose.
Dine with me. I'll see to it that that you are fed properly. This is the train of House Orion. I expect certain standards to be maintained.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let me do another round, and I'll sit down with you.
Sounds good.
All right.
Oh, and invite your friends, but not before I speak to that runic fellow.
All right. I'll share the word. Thank you.
My
I keep
pleasure.
going.
You pass by the Warforged, who's still frivolously like scratching out. It's like, that sounds ridiculous. To
So,
all parties concerned, like he's just like whispering to himself.
hey, you meet that guy over there?
What? Are you speaking to the
Oh,
Warforged?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard. I thought it was
Runic.
someone.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, that was the Warforged. You will probably pass by Runic as well.
You need any help with anything there, bud?
I not unless you know a synonym for interested.
I'm interested in cinnamon. That's a good spice, but I don't
He,
really
like-
think of any other ones.
Yes, of course.
Sorry.
No, I thank you for your time. And kind of goes back to his writing.
I keep going.
Okay. A little while later, Runic, did you return to your seat, or are you kind of like monitoring the hallway as well?
Just walking back and forth too.
The next time that you pass by the human, he says, "I know a great deal about you, Runic."
I'm just gonna like open up my little backpack, put on 2 rings.
Okay.
Just gonna walk up to him and punch him.
Okay. Make an attack.
Going to be 17.
Okay, that'll hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
It's just gonna be 1.
Okay. You strike into the side of him. He's like, "Oh, what? Calm down, sir. I was only joking. Help! I'm being attacked."
As soon as I hear help, I'm up with like a dagger out, just like I pull another dagger out.
It's like, "Help! He's attacking a house member."
Immediately run over because I hear help as well. If I hear it, just
Yeah. I'm finishing the last touches on the goggles, and because I'm assuming it's been like an hour or longer.
You would have had them finished before. The drinking has slowed down the progress, so about now it's good to go.
Okay, so I'll finish up, and I like kind of like sloggily walk over there, like I'm on it.
You guys walk over and see Runic with 2 rings on his right hand, having punched the man, and the man. Hang on a second. Everybody, make an insight check.
8.
8. Okay.
For
12.
12.
I made a 17.
Okay.
Hogan did make but didn't you insight like really well last time?
yeah, I rolled a nat 20. But I got a -1, so
What's your
I'm
stat?
kind of out of it.
What'd you roll?
Oh, 6. I thought I said that. Sorry.
Gotcha. Sorry. All of you can tell that he is definitely acting up his injury, like a "oh my, I've been struck" sort of thing.
I'm gonna walk over, like sloggily walk over to Runic and like look at the rings and be like, that. Look over at Dorian. You're fine. What do you?
I was attacked.
Runic, why did you hit this guy? What the fuck, man?
I was gonna look at them, like, hold him down. He said he has something in his suitcase.
I'm just gonna mimic the "what the fuck, man."
I really doubt it, but okay.
I'm
To be responsible, we should look here.
Yes.
What I was hit and now I'm being searched.
Sir, I don't know exactly who you are, but we're here to protect the train. If he thinks it's a credible threat, we've been hired on the same level as him.
He like
I'm sorry, dude.
he drops his kind of act. He's like, well, that's good. I want to make sure that, if there's any kind of disagreement, that threats are taken seriously here. And just so that we're puts down his suitcase. He's like, so we're all clear here. He like undoes the latches. He opens it up, and it just looks like clothing, a few papers, regular stuff.
All right.
He looks over at you, Runic. He's like, I apologize to incite any trouble, but my brother's been running this train for 5 consecutive years.
5 consecutive years. I mimic behind him.
5 consecutive years.
And certainly what has happened here will probably get back to him, and I just love to make him just a little bit nervous. Doesn't know how to enjoy himself. I apologize.
All right, well, please.
Wait, you're the cousin to the conductor, man?
Yes, I take over so that he can sleep, and we'll run the train in his absence.
Do we see his dragon mark?
Yeah, I can. He like pulls it down, and it appears on his forearm instead.
Okay. I'm gonna pull my arm and show the Lyrander signal.
I recognize that, but you're a member of House Lyrander?
Always will be.
I suppose you and I should be friends then, seeing as though you're a competitor, so to speak.
I don't need to compete with you, but your wine doesn't need to take 200 years to make. As I'm sipping it.
He's like, oh, I agree. But not our wine. We get those from House Galanda. They're the hospitality providers, and we usually buy wholesale from them. I've actually been in the market for a better class of drink aboard here. The ale is terrible. The brandy is fine, though.
I'm gonna open up the coat. Take one of these and take a sip, and you tell me your thoughts.
He like opens it up with his hand. He's like, oh, it's not a twist off. Drops it and takes a swig of it.
Inside, and as it goes in his mouth, it's very much like as it opens up, you hear the thunder and the crackling of the lightning. And inside his mouth, it's kind of like a small shock that goes around the mouth, but very smooth finish that comes down the throat.
I will say it's not like anything I've tasted before, and I've been to a few. I've been around the block a little bit. I've seen the world. This is the first time I've seen is something on this scale done for a beverage. What's your name?
Eros. You and me both. We travel. We do a lot. I see a lot. I drink a lot. Only good stuff.
Apparently. Well.
And you give him my card. Say, if you need specially done stuff, give me 3 months. I'll make anything.
I will definitely keep your name on file. Well, I'm glad that it looks like you're no longer practicing in Lyrander's occupationals. You're an adventure guildman now.
There's a lot of complicated stuff.
At that moment, the door slides open, and you see 4 different waiters kind of setting up a booth nearby. He's like, come sit down with me. I'd like to hear a little bit about your journeys. Dinner's on me, of course. And there's hot and juicy meats and wines and fruits and cheeses that are all laid out before you, as well as seeds. He goes ahead and he starts taking a sit down. He says, so you're probably not on here just for the protection. job. Where's your final destination?
Dwarf, tell the story.
Okay.
Pointing
Yeah,
at
you're the
Runic,
dwarf.
Well, I first of all, I don't even like take out the food. I look at the food. I'm just like turn the other way.
I immediately start grabbing some.
Touchy, isn't it?
Meats and cheeses.
And I look at the guys. What do you want to know?
Just once we get to our destination, where are you heading to next? What's your next job?
I look at him. Don't worry about it.
It's a touchy fellow. You claim to have a bomb in your suitcase, and everyone gets up in arms.
I perfectly repeat what they told us, what we're doing. Just straight up going to Thrain, dispatching undead
Like-
to Flame Keep in 2 days.
What the bird said.
You're actually going to be doing me a favor then. It's dangerous work fighting undead. And are any of you men of the cloth, so to speak?
Only the paper one.
I like look at my rags.
Well, keep in mind, Thrain usually employs spits out a high level of paladins and clerics, so they're able to handle undead a little bit more efficiently. But it'll be a little bit more challenging for you folk, I imagine. Still, it'll definitely make what I'm doing in Thrain a lot easier.
And what is that, sir?
House Orion has been split up into two separate lightning rails for quite some time. The eastern and the western line. There's a small patch of land that we can connect the two in Thrain if we can get them to sign off on it. Problem is that Thrain is a little bit iffy about any arcane means, and we have to smooth this over. So I am actually stopping over in Flamekeep to discuss with both the Blood Regent and the Keeper of the Flame that it would be necessary and beneficial for all to have a smoother transition from yada yada yada. I'm trying to connect people to the world.
I'm gonna drunkenly do an insight check, so I'm assuming that'll be a disadvantage.
Yes, it will.
Okay. A 13.
13. The man seems earnest. From what you can tell, he doesn't seem to be concealing anything like anything sinister. He's more just like not bored, not upset. He's more annoyed that he has to even make this argument at all because it makes just simple sense and they're willing to put forth the effort, but over certain beliefs, they don't want any construction happening.
Okay. So I look up to him. So what's stopping you from doing it now? You and your cousin seem clearly to have one of the most highly advanced moving things, trains, automobiles.
What's an automobile? Well, currently the only thing separating me from and separating us from getting this done is another 32 hours of travel. I'm there to negotiate on behalf of my house to see if I can assuage them to allow us to build that connecting line. But
Do any of us, or I guess even like Eros, would Eros know anything about like that kind of people? Like
make a history check, sure.
All right. 17.
17. You know a great deal about House Orion, especially because they have a small rivalry with House Lyrander. House Orion is essentially carry the Mark of Passage, which allow them to be able to do like Expeditious Retreat, Jump, Misty Step, and Pass without a trait, just because they have that Dragon Mark. They also control the air elementals that power their lightning rails, and they have a headquarters called Journey's Home in a place called Passage in the country of Onder. Essentially, they've dominated transportation for centuries, but the issue is mostly due to the fact that the moorland is a huge obstacle for ground transportation. There's been a lot of trouble like securing funds to rebuild a new line that goes around the moorland, since it used to be a country. Now it's just uninhabitable wasteland. They can't go through that area. I mean, that's the most that you get from it. It's the second cheapest way to travel and the second most efficient because of that, next to the airships that House Lyrander uses.
Okay. With because my character knows Primordial, would they know how to speak to? Is it specific to any elementals that have Primordial, or do they also know the dialects of Ignan, Terran, Orin, Aqua, and all that for those?
No, I'll say that under Primordial, like you can speak all that.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Looking over at Jordan, I'll tell you what. I kind of like, I don't know if you'd understand it, but I kind of flash that I can speak a little bit of, or speak Primordial. Considering that your houses and my houses are in contest, whatever that's supposed to mean. If I'll throw my house in the hat just to have you give you extra weight. If you tell me how this thing runs and let me speak to the elementals, I'll get your trains running way faster, more efficient, and at less magical cost.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Hey, real quick, small interrupt. I just heard glass break downstairs, and my fiance is supposed to be out and about, so I'm just gonna go see what that is.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
I heard. I think it was something small, like a dish or something. But hold on.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So I rolled nat 20 the first one, and then 17 is the next one.
Okay. He gives you a very long, serious look. He says,
I can show you.
there's a few factors to consider if we're doing this. One, you are from a rival house that has been fighting with my family over transportation for hundreds of years. So having them attempt to help us is going to be a long and arduous process. Nothing that I can guarantee for you in a night. Number two, I say communicate, but when we're speaking to the elementals themselves, we do so through the dragon mark. And when we're talking to them, we're really just speaking to them while they're bound and speaking through the binding rather than actually speaking to them. It's major differences between how air begin to see like this black liquid beginning to ooze out of it. Do you have a bonus action or movement you want to take?
I am going to try to make it to caster.
You can get right there if you'd like. Do you want
Sure.
to move away? Because
No, that should be fine.
sounds good. Next up, we have Eros, followed by the enemies and then caster. Eros, what would you like to do?
How far am I from the closest enemy?
Closest enemy is here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 would put you right there.
Okay. Could I, if I cast something, I can see him from where I'm at, correct? Or do I have to move?
You'd have to move.
Okay, I'm going to move to D9.
D9 it is. Okay. And you can hit at this one or this one.
I'm going to hit at the closest one to me. I'm going to use Ray of Sickness.
Okay. Do I save or do you roll?
Both, I believe. Yeah, it's if you both. If you fail, you're poisoned. If you don't, or if you succeed, you're not poisoned.
Okay, so it's a save. Got it.
A 23.
Hang on a second. You said it's called Ray of Sickness, correct?
Yeah, a ray of sickening greenish energy lashes out toward a creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 2d8 poison damage and must make a Constitution saving
The
throw.
hell? Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing what you're saying. Okay, well that will hit, and it's. I see what you mean by both. That'd be 15 for its save.
I believe that beats mine. Doesn't give me a. Oh yeah, it does beat it.
Okay, so go ahead and do your damage. It is not poisoned. 16. As you pull out this pocket watch, you go ahead and aim the Ray of Sickness over at the this guy, this orc with a massive great axe in its hand, and as you fire at it, hits right into his form, and you can see this kind of like greenish veins kind of moving up and like going into his eyes. He dies. You just see him just like hit with this, and you just kind of like begins to like throw up in his mouth, and part of his bile like goes on there, and the other orc's like, Harush, you murderer! Bonus action or movement.
Nope. Just gonna look at the other orc. Your next friend.
Okay, then it is the orc's turn. In fact, actually, we'll go ahead and start with the Warforged. Warforged is going to go ahead and leave its quarry to hit the fighter. Oh, yeah, I don't think so.
That's a floor.
That's 11 to hit.
Oh, that misses.
Okay, second attack. 16 plus 5, 21.
That hits.
Yeah, it does. Well, that's a 1. That's a 1 plus 3, so 4 minimum damage because the dice fell off. So he gets out of the seat, leaving his quarry, and like strikes haphazardly, hitting into the wall the first time. As he pulls it out, they're reverberating. Like the momentum carries over and strikes across your back. This orc is going to go ahead and move 5. Let's move 5, 10. Get right up close to our man Eros here, and he's going to roll the hit with a great axe. 17 plus. I mean, it'll probably hit you at that point.
Mm-hmm.
17 plus 5, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we'll do D12 plus 3. That is, it was almost a 10. It's really upsetting. 5 points of slashing damage.
Cool.
And then the last little orc is going to go ahead and move. Yeah, let's go ahead and move him up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So he's going to have advantage and flanking on the fighter. Okay, I rolled a 1 and an 8. That is 13 to hit you, Runic.
13 barely hits.
Yeah, buddy. Okay, that's more like it. That's 11 plus 3, 14 points of slashing damage.
All right.
Okay. That is their moves. And Caster, it is your go.
Okay, so all
shit.
3 enemies are in front of me, aren't they?
Yep, unfortunately, you have visuals on all of them.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and cast myself a nice Scorching Ray. I'm going to choose all 3 of them as targets.
Okay. You go ahead and invoke this energy into your hand, and your this kind of smoky this smoke begins to burn through the palm of your hand. Go ahead and make your rolls to attack.
Okay, so we'll do one at a time.
Okay.
So we'll just go top down. So
Okay.
your AC's from there. So we'll go with the top guy. That is going to be a 12 to hit.
12 does not hit.
Okay, second one.
Okay,
Second one is a natural 1.
does not hit.
And the third one is 18 plus 4.
That will hit.
Okay.
You hit the Warforged.
Okay, so I got the Warforged. It's going to be 2d6. It's going to be 7 plus. Yeah, okay, so it's just going to be 7 points of fire damage.
Okay. Okay. So the streaks of heat just blast wildly out of your hands, missing the 2 orcs, but striking it to the center of the back of the Warforged, and you can hear it kind of cry out as it hits its mark, kind of melting the armor that is laid in there. Bonus action or movement?
That's it. Actually, I want to move back to B6 against the wall.
Done deal. Alrighty, next up we have Hogan. Hogan, you're far from the fight.
Yeah, quick question. So I'm the number 4d6, right?
Yep.
And who is the d4 to my left?
That would be not the elf. That would be Orion. Ling Orion.
Oh, okay.
Ling Dorian.
All right, not gonna worry about that. So question about D&D mechanics over Pathfinder. Pathfinder, at least when we play, diagonal steps are 5, 10, 5, 10. So first one's 5, second one's 10.
Correct.
I've
That
noticed
is-
you only go at least when I've seen you move things automatically, I don't really see you do diagonal steps. Is that a thing or?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. The D, I think that's a 12 underneath whoever's number 2.
Yeah.
Can I get diagonally up to the left from him? Would that be 25?
Yes, I counted it out, and yes, it would be. So you can
Alright.
strike into that guy. Is there
Um,
anything you'd like to do beforehand?
I'd like to wait.
Yes.
And as I have the bear totem, I now have resistance
Ooh,
versus all
nice.
damage, but psychic. So
Cool.
Does
yeah.
he turn into
I
a
would
little
like to
bear?
recklessly attack the D12.
Go. You can hit the orc that represents the D12. Go for it.
Well, hey, yeah. All right. So I have advantage. So these are 14 or that. So 14 plus 4 is 18 to hit.
Hits damage.
That would be 10 damage.
10 damage. Okay. As you fly into your rage, the bear totem kind of spiritually encapsulating you. You run up in your full speed, run up like Thor style from Infinity War, and crash down into the breastplate of this half orc and engage it pretty deeply into the chest, pulling it out.
Should have went for the head.
But that is your full movement, your action, your bonus action. Runic, it's your go.
Are they still both alive?
Yeah, girl.
Okay.
You are here. They are
I'm
here.
going to.
Wait, Runic, where are you?
I am flanked right now.
Okay.
Uh-oh, scary.
Ooh. All
All
right.
right. I'm gonna use. First of all, I'm gonna drop the dagger. Have my
Okay.
bow at the ready. I'm gonna turn back. Facing both Hogan and Eris. I'm going to expend my one of my arcane shots,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be piercing arrow. So it creates a line 1 feet wide and 30 feet long, and each creature that is in that line must pass dexterity saving throw or take. Okay, you already wrote it.
Well, you said the throw, but what
yeah.
happens if I fail?
You just take an additional 1d6 of damage, as opposed to just a normal d6 of damage from the arrow.
What's
Well-
the saving throw?
Dexterity.
Or
I rolled a 15 and an 11.
I rolled a 14.
So you pass. The DC is 12. So
One of
One of
them's
them-
going to be affected by it. We'll say the one that has that's closest to you.
what's it called? I'm not sure how you want to rule it, because it just says. I'm gonna read the whole thing. Piercing arrow. You use transmutation magic to make your arrow an ethereal quality. When you use this option, you don't make an attack roll for the attack. Instead, the arrow fires forward in a line, which is the. Arrow passes harmlessly through objects, ignoring cover. Each creature in that line must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes damage as if they were hit by the arrow, plus an extra 1d6 piercing damage. On a successful save, a target takes half as much damage. So I still roll both d6s,
Correct.
which is going to be it's going to be 9 plus 3, so 12 points of damage.
So I take 6, right?
Yes,
believe
that is
so.
correct. Okay, good news. This guy here is dead from that.
Nice.
And that guy who's closest to you is not looking great because an arrow went through him. It actually strikes and finally hits into Arrow's shoulder, dealing the damage accordingly. Do you want to move or do you want to stay?
I am going to action surge, grab my dagger. Can I attack with the dagger?
I will say sure. As a bonus action, you can use that. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Action surge.
Yes. But bonus action to pick up your dagger, action to strike.
I'll go for it. That's going to be 19 to hit
19 hits, damage.
for 6 points of damage.
Okay. And that will wipe out the other orc.
This guy D&D's hard.
Yes, he does. You're no longer being flanked. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
I want to run the hell out of there.
Okay. You provoke an attack of opportunity. Where do you want to go, though?
I want to go towards Caster, just lunge myself out of the way.
Like here?
Yeah.
Okay. The Warforged is going to go ahead and take an attack of opportunity on you. Whoo! That is going to be 15 plus. There's some pluses. Here we go.
Oh no,
Uh,
No.
15 plus 5, so that's going to be a 20 to hit.
that hits.
Cool. With 8 points of slashing damage.
8 points. Got it.
Oof.
Very oof.
Who is still alive and how many are
Just the Warforged remains.
okay?
And Arrows, it is your go.
Who is lined up in front of me?
Currently, it is the Warforged. The orcs would have fallen down after being struck.
Okay, I was just wondering who the other orange and the other D12 was, or D10, whichever.
Well, those two are dead. I'm leaving them on the board as though it's difficult terrain.
Okay. I look over to Runic with my arm on my shoulder. You and I had the same idea. I'm glad I won't hit you back. I'm gonna kneel down, pull out the pocket watch, and kind of cast catapult.
Okay. I make a save to see if it stops, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. 19, but so it'll stop when it hits me, which is
Yeah.
I guess good.
4,
Such bullshit.
4, 6, 16. Oh, sorry. I don't know math. 14.
14. Alrighty. The magically enchanted bolt flies through the air and directly nails itself into the side of the Warforged. You can kind of hear like something like starting to like come unhinged within it. Bonus action or movement.
I'm going to just kind of sit there because I'm not going to do much. Yeah. Nothing.
Well, then let's go ahead and have him die a soldier's death. Let's go 5. I'll say that's 15, 20 to get to there. And he is going to go ahead and do all of his multi-attacks at the guy who last hit him.
Okay.
Cool. So that is
The personal vendetta.
It's an 11 and a 20.
The 20 will hit.
Okay. And that's 4 points of damage as he slices into you.
Okay.
Alrighty. He just overhand strikes into the side of you, right where the bullet is. He's like, "The silver flame denounces you. My body will die, but it will have served a greater purpose."
Nuh-uh.
All right. Next up, we have Caster.
All right, yeah, I see him kind of assailing Arrow, so I'm gonna just Eldritch Blast it right in the back.
Go for it.
That would be 12 plus 4, 16.
16 will hit. Damage?
Damage on that will be 10 plus 2. It's going to be 6 points of damage.
All right. What are the details of its demise?
I'm just going to Eldritch Blast it right in the back, trying to just rip it apart from the inside.
And Arrows, as it lifts its sword up for another hit, you can see like the explosion happen from within it. Everything that's been hit on its internal structure just falling in on itself and exploding. The joints that were holding its legs to its midsection and arms to its midsection just fall apart, and the head goes shooting off at the ceiling as it all crumples down. There's a moment of silence, and then you just hear an applause coming from the back of the train. Looking over, you see Ling Dorian going, "What a show! Wow, that was something."
We aim to please.
I turn towards him, like holding a dagger out, expecting more to fight.
I believe that we are safe for the moment. The other passengers walk up to you each at a time. They said, the Warforged ambassador kind of comes over. He says, "You four just saved my life and the other members aboard here. You have a friend in Rote, should you ever need it. The country of Breland, on behalf of them, thanks you for your service." The priestess goes over to Arrows and places her hand onto your shoulder and heals you for 8. as her hand like places on there, it begins to like knit up the wounds where the bolts went through from the arcane archery. She says, "You are very brave, and that's not something you see typically in a day-to-day thing. Most people are more selfish, but I appreciate what you've done for me and the others here today." Um, the halfling goes ahead and he pulls out. He's like, "Well, if we're all being generous here, I'd be remiss if I don't award you these." And to Runic, you get 5 walloping arrows.
What do they do?
They make a strength save, otherwise they're knocked prone.
Nice.
Check out
Pack
Xanathor's.
wallop.
OP.
And lastly, Orion goes over to the. Oh, hang on a second. 1, 2, 3. Nope, not missing anyone. Ling kind of joins the rest of you and says, "Now, I hate to bother you for this, but he is my cousin, and his record would be tarnished if he found out there was any kind of skirmish on here. We can quietly get rid of these bodies and turn them over to the local authorities once we reach our destination in Flamekeep. I would ask you for your discretion to make sure that word of this doesn't go spreading around."
Would you pay us for our discretion?
I'd say pay for discretion.
Pay for
That's how-
discretion.
If that is the price of it, in addition to your 50 gold, I could double that for you. How does that sound?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Good
Make,
shit.
we both make the circles.
I'll speak to my brother
How
or
often?
my cousin.
How often does this happen? It seems like you are used to this.
Sir, I don't know what you're saying. Lightning rail is the safest way to travel. This is clearly something that does not happen often.
5
And-
consecutive years.
5 consecutive years, we've never had a problem.
So they say.
Runic?
I'm gonna use what is it called? Second wind, just to heal up a little bit.
You got it.
I'm gonna be walking up to him. It's like, how about you keep the extra 50 gold for me, and you just clean out my tab?
I think that's agreeable. It can't be that large of a tab, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like walk away and just patch myself up a little bit.
He says, "Listen, this is rather sensitive information, and and since no one was harmed, I hardly think we need to report the incident. Lightning rail is still one of the fastest and safest ways to travel, and we employ good adventurers to ensure it that way. So even if it were to get out, which it shouldn't, I'd still say that what you've done here, while we are appreciative, need not be advertised."
As long
Need
as you
not
give
be
us-
advertised.
We're paid for discretion. We service that discretion.
Marvelous. Once we get to Flamekeep, I'll be sure that you're compensated accordingly, in which fact you guys are. In the 3 of you go ahead and leave the train as it pulls into the Flamekeep station. Yes, Mr. Eros.
I'm going to give business cards to the Top Hat Warforge, to the Kalistar woman, and also another one to the halfling, just to, now that he has 3.
Gotcha. The 4 of them are, or the 3, yeah, all 4 of them actually, the passengers get off the train and go to their various businesses. They each of them with the different agenda that they had told you about, but they were all able to get off of that train because of what you did for them in there. And forging those future connections may be lucrative and beneficial for you, but that's a story for another time. For now, I'd like to say thank you all for watching. Thank you for enjoying this episode of After Hours. Please follow us for more content. We produce this every Sunday at 4 p.m. We're going to be doing another one with our returning guest, Jonathan, and then the week after, we're going to be seeing these guys again. And I just wanted to say thank you to Corporate Streams for putting us on the internet. Thank you to the guys for joining in and being a part of this. It was awesome to have you here and very cool to see all of your interactions. And yeah, since I think that we can pause for the freeze frame outro. Do the thing. And with that, I'm gonna go and say we are cut and done. Know if you can hear me.